So welcome to the Authoring Creating Content Skilled webinar. Just really quickly, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Jamie Heron. I'm the SUNY Online Program Manager at the SUNY Center for Professional Development. I have been an online teaching faculty member for over almost 20 years rather, and an instructional designer across SUNY for 10 years. And over 10 years rather, and I've been at the CPD for a couple of years here. And my role is to walk us through the authoring and creating content skilled webinar today, and hopefully familiarize you with the tools and options you have within Brightspace to develop, redesign, tweak your content as we migrate into the Brightspace learning environment. The housekeeping, let's get that out of the way here. These sessions are designed in an hour-and-a-half format. The first hour is demonstration. So I'm going to be running you through all of the different tools within Brightspace. I'll be sharing my screen so that you can see that. And then I reserve the last 30 minutes of the sessions for questions and answers. If you do have a question as I'm progressing through the materials, I do suggest that you hold off on your question initially, because it tends to get answered in the next couple of minutes, because you are thinking sequentially and logically, and as we were when we were developing these materials. If your question is not answered then in the next couple of minutes, please feel free to post it in the chat. It's easiest for me because I go back and review those questions during the Q&A period. If you highlight your question with a capital Q or the word question in all caps, it draws my attention and then ensures that you'll get an answer to that question. I do ask that if you have a question, it is asked in chat and not in over the mic. If you want to ask a verbal question, we can hold off on that until the Q&A, and then you can raise your hand in Zoom, or you can post in the chat that you would like to come off of mute, and then I'll ask and request that you unmute your mic and ask the question at that time. So for the remainder of the session, however, I do ask that you maintain mute on your mic so that everybody has a good listening experience. For accessibility concerns, if you need captions, please feel free to click on the CC icon on your Zoom menu, and then you can turn on the transcript right there. Recordings of these sessions are available on the DLE website, and I'll run through that with you at the end of this session. All right, with that, let's get started. Hold on just one moment. I have to actually get Brightspace open here. And I'll be taking you into the SUNY Center for Professional Development, or CPD's instance of Brightspace, so you can get a feel for what it's going to look like when you finally get access to your own Brightspace instance. Because we're talking about the creating content portion of these skilled webinars, I'm going to take for granted that you have already attended the user interface session in particular, and that you're already familiar with some of the areas within Brightspace I'm going to be talking about, and some of the terminology that I discussed in the earlier skilled webinars. If you would like to refresh your memory, or if you haven't attended those webinars, I do encourage you to go back on that DLE website and review that material there. So the majority of our content within Brightspace, in terms of what we build for the learning resources that we provide to our students, happens in the content area within Brightspace. So I'm going to click on the content link here in our nav bar. And when I do so, you'll notice that this content area likes to bring you into whichever folder you were in last. And so I do want to mention here that we can go ahead and collapse all of the folders, and this is what it's going to look like when you actually add a folder or a module. And just as an FYI, I use the words folder and module interchangeably here within Brightspace. They mean the same thing: creating a folder, you're creating a module, etc. You'll notice that I've already created a handful of other folders here in previous training sessions or previous programming here. And we have the option to create content right here in the content area. We can add a brand new module if we would like to from here. This is doing it from here, clicking add a module at the bottom left-hand corner of the table of contents page, or the add a module at the bottom of the folder section is acceptable if you're like going to only just build a single module. But if you're going to do more extensive course design, or you're working with your migrated materials from your current LMS into the Brightspace learning environment, we do recommend that you use a different tool called the Course Builder. And you can access that course builder from in the table of contents. You can click on this related tools button, and you could click on course builder here, or you can go to your course admin panel and select the course builder from this menu here. Either way, whichever way you come into the course builder, it will bring you to the same page. When you first enter the course builder, you will actually not see this screen. You're going to see another screen that's going to describe the various sections of the course builder. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you can click start or next, and it will then bring you to this page. The course builder itself is divided into 3 columns here on our screen. The first column contains 3 different menus. We will be using the build and outline menu today, as well as the add content menu. The browse tools menu is covered when we create and link our gradable activities into our course materials, and that's covered in the gradable activities scaled webinar. The middle section of the course builder is where you can visualize the hierarchical structure of your course. And so when you first start in the course builder, if you haven't imported materials from your other course from another LMS, you'll have just a single folder here indicating this is the main parent folder of all the content of your particular course. And as you start to build materials within your course, you'll see them laid out here. The course builder makes it really easy for you to see the structure of your course, to see what contents are held in every single one of your folders here within Brightspace. And it's a very effective way to make sure that your course content is consistent in layout and navigation from module to module, folder to folder, week to week, etc. On the right-hand column, you're going to see a little square that's going to give you information about whichever node, which is what each of these is called, whichever item or node you're clicked onto in this middle column. So right now I'm clicked onto the Hair and Training course folder, and so it gives me information about this particular course. If I were to click onto this module folder here, it would give me information about that module folder, as well as items within those folders, such as this module introduction. To be honest, I don't use this third column very frequently. I predominantly spend the majority of my time working with these menus and this center column here. So let's talk about how to actually build with the course builder. We're going to initially begin by building a module. So to do so, we come here into this build outline menu. And if you hover over the first icon, you're going to see that a help menu appears and it says create a module. For any of these icons, if you have any questions about what that icon represents, you can hover over it and it's going to tell you what that icon represents. When we go to create a module within Brightspace, we're forced to create a folder or module before we can add any other content into our course. And that's because all content within Brightspace inside a course has to be contained within a folder. You can't simply create a single page. It always has to be contained within a folder here. So you have 2 different ways to create a module here within the course builder. You can click on this icon, and then I'll show you the second icon in just a moment. So I'm going to click on the create a module icon. It's going to bring up this pop-up and it's going to ask me to select a location within my, my main course structure here. And if I want it to be a subfolder within one of the other folders that I've created, I could click here. If I want to have it contained just out at the parent level, I click on my Hair and Training course and it puts it out at the main level there. It forces me to give this module folder a name. And so I'm going to call this the 8-2-22 scaled webinar folder. I can add notes if I would like, as a reminder about maybe what gets contained within this. This notes area is visible only to me as the course builder or the designer here in the class. I can set restrictions so that when I'm building my course materials, if I like to have my modules open by date and time or close by date and time, I can set those dates here and it will apply to this particular folder. And once I select these dates, one or the other or both, I can add these dates to my calendar, which is a helpful way to communicate what's available when to my students. So I encourage you as often as you can, if you're setting any dates, that you do display those in the calendar for your students to see. Next, I'm going to click Create, and this then adds a folder down to the bottom of my list of folders. And you can see it's this 8222 folder here. And I have a couple options in the drop-down menu that opens up when I click on the chevron. I can move this folder up so it's at the top, but this, using these buttons, only moves it up one level. I could remove this folder, etc. My other option though is to drag and drop this folder where I would like it. And you'll notice that if I want to drop it between two other modules that I've already created, I will place it where there's a black line in between those folders. If I would like it to be embedded within a folder, I would hover over it until it turns orange and I could drop it right in there and it creates a subfolder. I'm going to caution you about the use of subfolders within Brightspace. The use of subfolders is something I used extensively in previous learning management systems in order to chunk my materials, make it easier for students to navigate and locate information. Within this Brightspace learning environment, adding subfolders actually disrupts the way that students navigate through your materials. So if you do have to use subfolders for organizational purposes, try to do so minimally. I'm a folder convert. I used to have a lot of folders within folders, etc., because I liked the way I could organize it a bit better. But currently in my redesign of my materials, as I've migrated them into Brightspace, I've gone from probably 20 to 25 subfolders in my course down to just one. So there are definitely tools within Brightspace that will allow us to cease using those subfolders and leverage the document templates that I'm going to show you a little bit later today. So we have created this main folder here, and I want to tell you the second way that you can actually add a module from this build and outline menu. Rather than clicking it, if you drag and drop this module, you can put it, create another main module out here at the parent level, or you can create a subfolder with you if you would like. I'm going to create a subfolder here just so I can show you what navigation looks like to students when we have a subfolder. And I just, it's not necessarily best practices, but I want to make sure that you understand how to do it. So rather than dropping it where there's a black line, I drop it here onto the orange, so it embeds within this folder. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call it the 82 training resources, learning sources subfolder. I'm not going to set any dates or restrictions here. I'm just going to click Create. And now you can see that we can tell the hierarchical structure now of this first module folder. It's out here at the parent level, and now we have elongated, made the hierarchical curve deeper here by adding another level. And what we want to make sure we're doing as much as possible within Brightspace is what's called flattening the curve, making sure that, or flattening the hierarchy rather, trying to keep everything in this straight line rather than adding depth this way. I'll show you what that looks like as we navigate materials, just as an FYI. So again, there are two different ways to create these module folders. You can click on that link, or you can drag and drop. The dragging and dropping had saved me that first menu item where I had to select where in the course I wanted to drop this folder. Instead, I could just drag and drop it exactly where I wanted to put it. And then by clicking on this module in that first demonstration I did for you, it dropped it down here at the bottom of my list, and I had to drag and drop it up at the top. So it really is a more efficient method if you drag and drop the module where you would like it to go. So let's talk about some of the other menu items here in your build and outline menu. I do not use this create a link placeholder. I typically do that out from the content area. And but I more often use this create a file placeholder. And I need to explain what this means. It says create a file. And so that might make you think that, oh, this is where I'm going to put my PowerPoint or my Excel file or a video file, etc. But what this actually means is it's going to create an HTML file, which means a web page, which essentially translates into a page within your course. So the icon here is really representative of what we're creating when we click on this item. We're going to create a page within our course. So again, I could click on this and fill out the information, but it's much faster for me to drag this icon where I would like to add a page in my course. So I'm going to drag it and I'm going to drop it right here within this 8.2 folder, but above my Learning Resources subfolder. I drop it right there, and it's going to ask me to give a name for this file. So this is going to be my 8.2 module introduction. And click create. All right, so that's my page that I'm creating. And I want to highlight a small difference here. If you'll notice when I'm clicked onto this folder node right up here, it's a solid orange line. But when I click on this file placeholder that I just created, it's a dotted line. What that means is this is a placeholder. This is a reminder to me that I want to add content at a later point. It's if I were to click back into the content area of my course, the only new content that I would see that I've already created here in the course builder is this folder and subfolder. This hash mark line means it's transparent. It's not visible to students in the content area. Again, this is me building an outline for me to fill in later. I can add another placeholder as well. So I'm going to drag this down here, and I'm going to create an 8.2 module conclusion. So I'm going to drop that at the end of this 8.2 folder right below the Learning Resources subfolder. And I'm going to call this my 8.2 module conclusion. And if you'll just hang with me for a moment, I swear this will all make sense in the end. It does take a couple moments for you to get an idea of what this really is going to look like. The next 3 placeholders that I want to add are for the gradable activities that I know, because I already have my syllabus created for my materials, I know that I need to add placeholders for gradable activities. So this is for a discussion, this is for an assignment, and this icon here with the question mark is for a quiz. So I'm going to drag this discussion folder placeholder here, drop it right there, and I'm going to call this my 8.2 discussion. I could add notes if I would like, but I'm just going to leave that blank and click create. So you can see now that I have a place, once I've created my gradable activities, I can add those right here on top of this placeholder. Next, I'm going to grab a placeholder here for an assignment, drag it over here. I'm going to put it underneath the discussion and in between discussion and module conclusion. I drop it and I give it a name. This is the 8.2 assignment. Actually, I should call this 8.2 through, no, I'll just call it the 8.2 assignment, it's fine. And click create. And then finally, I want to create a placeholder for a quiz. And you might not have all of these different gradable activities within any single module, and that's okay. You only add placeholders for the gradable activities that you intend on using within that particular folder. So I'm going to drag this link here for the placeholder for the quiz. I like the way this displays when I do discussion quiz assignment better than in another order, and I'll show you why in just a moment, but know that you can put it in whatever order. The only thing is you want to keep it consistent from week to week, module to module, etc. So I'm going to drag this item and drop it right there. I'm going to call this my 8.2 quiz and click create. So now what I've done here is I have created a general outline of what this module looks like. And if I wanted to, I could compare it to another folder that I've created in the past, so you can see that the layout is similar. So you can see I have an introduction or overview. I have some links then to my gradable activities and a module conclusion at the end. And really that's what we're shooting for, we're aiming for. We are aiming for that consistency in layout between sections. So now we're done with this build and outline menu. I'm going to scroll down and we're going to talk about the add content menu. And if I'm being honest, the only item that I use from this add content menu is creating that HTML file, that course page here. You don't have access to all of these other elements here in your menu, but the way to build an actual discussion, assignment, or quiz, our recommended workflow is to create them from our course activities, and we discussed that in full detail in the Gradable Activities Scaled webinar. So for now, we're only going to create a brand new page, and we have two different options, and you can choose whichever way works best for you. I can drag this and replace this placeholder with an actual page, or I can just drag it and create a brand new page. And that's going to be up to you, however you want to do this. You can skip the step of adding a placeholder for a page altogether and just add your own page. But here I'll show you both ways. So I drag and drop this create an HTML file right on top of that placeholder that I created. You'll notice that it inputs the name of my placeholder there for me. And then it gives me an option to start creating content. So if I actually wanted to create page content here, I could. But because I want to demonstrate to you the document templates, I want to show you how to add a template instead of creating the content right here using the rich text editor. So I'm going to make myself a note and use the module intro doc template. And I can set restrictions if I don't want students to be able to see this till a specific date or time, or it closes at a specific date or time, I can do so. And I click create. So what you might notice now is that hash marked line from that placeholder has been replaced by a solid orange line, which means that if I were to go back to this content area, I would see the folder, I would see this page, and I would see this subfolder. Everything else in this folder is still just a draft, it's a placeholder, etc. Your other option, so in lieu of creating a placeholder and then dragging this, link right on top of it, you can skip the placeholder step and just drag and drop the file anywhere you would like to. So I'm going to drag it and drop it right between the Learning Resources subfolder and the module introduction. In this case, because there's no placeholder with the name already there, I have to call it my 8-2 accordions demo. And this is because I want to show you another type of document template called accordion. And this will allow me to demonstrate that to you. If I click off of the title I just created, it's going to create the HTML file name for me. It will strip out any symbols, etc., that it doesn't accept, like this slash here between the dates. You'll notice now it's called 82 accordions demo. I'm going to make myself a note here and use the accordion document template. I can set restrictions and then I click create. So you can see that I skipped the step of adding this placeholder for the page, and that this has a solid orange line, which means that it does exist out in the content area. I am going to leave this module conclusion as a placeholder just so I can show you that it doesn't display out in the content area for now. All right. So if you wanted to, if it were me and when I was actually building content, I would actually lay out all of my materials at once. I would build this outline similar to writing an outline in high school or college, where you needed to put all of your thoughts in order, and so that you could write a more effective paper. And so that's how I view using the course builder. It's like creating this detailed outline of your course that you can later go fill out. So this is all I'm going to add from the course builder right now. Tomorrow, or I'm sorry, the webinar on gradable activities will come in and we'll start adding our discussion, our quiz, and our assignment here as well. With that, I'm going to come back to the content area. And that will bring us back to the table of contents where we can see this brand new folder that we just created. So you'll see there's a list here on our table of contents. Right now, there are 2 elements in that. It includes the 2 pages that we created, one for the module intro and one for the accordion. It's not counting the placeholders for the 3 gradable activities, nor is it counting the link for the conclusion page. If I expand this open, you can see that it has a single page for the module introduction, a single page for the demo, and it has the learning resources subfolder, which does not count as an item in this count here. Next, what I want to demonstrate to you out in the course home, once I created this brand new module, it adds it to my visual table of contents. And so you can see that when it creates that module, it automatically uses the image from your banner for your course. It's replaced right up here, or it's used right here in the banner for this particular module. And you might notice other modules have what's called the information eye here. And when you click on that, it flips the module card over so that students can get an idea of what's contained within that module. So what I would like to do next is show you how to do both of those things. And you can do with that what you will. You don't need to add the image, or you don't need to change the image, and you don't need to add that text, but it is helpful in navigating at least to have the text. So I can get to the folder by clicking this link, or I could click into the content and I would be back. I just want to show you right here how to do it. I click on the link, it brings me here into this folder. And this is one of the few things where I think the interface in Brightspace is a little confusing. It's not necessarily clear where you would add that image or the help text there. And so you come here to where this folder title is. And if you scroll down with your mouse, you could add dates and restrictions, by the way, to this folder if you didn't when you created it. And you can also add a description. Clicking on this add a description area opens up this rich text editor. And this is where we can change the image if we would like to in the table of contents header, as well as add that help text. So I'm going to, let me open up my training files here in just one moment. And I'm going to add an image. So here, clicked into the rich text editor. When I want to add an image here, I click on the insert image icon. I click on it and I click on, I'm going to bring this file from my computer. I have 2 options. I can drag a file right here from another folder, etc., that I have on my computer, or I can click upload and browse through my computer this way. I find it easier to drag and drop. So I'm going to drag a banner image that I have here. And the banner image size recommendations are 1200 pixels by about 350 pixels. Using a banner image that's not that size tends to skew the way the content looks. So really either search for images that are that size, or you can work with whatever kind of tool that you grab your images from, etc., to get an image that size. So the file's uploaded, you can see that there. I click add. And it prompts me to provide alternative text. So if this image contained anything that was vitally important for students to know, I could add that alt text here. This is just a decorative image, so I'm going to click this image is decorative, click OK, and you're going to see this menu item for virtually everything I upload here in this training, and that's because I've used these files repeatedly. So I'm just going to create a brand new file here. And you'll see now my image is added. And I'm going to next add the help text here for my students. So within this module, you will learn how to, and then I'm going to create a list here. And the reason I create a list is essentially if I'm going to provide any information to my students who are reading this in digital format, I tend to use bulleted lists as much as possible because all humans scan digital screens. They don't do in-depth reading. And so using bulleted lists will help call attention to these things, and it will increase the likelihood that they're going to pay attention. So we're going to learn how to create a folder, upload a file. We're going to learn how to embed a video. We're going to learn how to create a page and use document. Once you're done adding your help text here, you come down here to just below the rich text editor, and you can click update. It's very easy, and I've done this repeatedly, to click this upload and create button instead of the blue update button. So anyway, just as an FYI, be careful where you're clicking here and click update. You'll see now within this module folder here, it has that image that I just added, and then this list of what students can expect to find in this module. If I come out to the course home, my visual table of contents, the card for this particular module has been updated now, and it has the image that I added in that description area, and now it has an information eye. The reason I added those commas at the end of my bulleted list, each line of that bulleted list, is because the visual table contents card does not contain bullets. And so adding those commas makes us read just a little bit better. All right, back to this visual, back to the folder itself. Let's talk about the content that we can build. If you want to build content, you come here to this upload and create button. And I'm actually going to do this in my subfolder here. You can click this upload and create, and it looks like a rather extensive menu here of things that we can create using this button. But because our recommended workflow for all of these gradable activities or activities within our course is actually to use the course activities areas within Brightspace, essentially we knock these off as possibilities. If you're going to use SCORM, I do recommend you work with your instructional designers on campus. And we don't have the learning object repository set up within Brightspace. As soon as we do, we'll start doing programming on that. So really what it boils down to is having 4 main options of things that you can upload or create here within Brightspace. And if you're familiar at all with file management, this might be something that you are comfortable with. But to be honest, I don't recommend that a lot of faculty use this add from manage files unless you're really, really comfortable with file management. So let's talk about the 4 elements we can add to our course relatively easily here from the content area. The first is uploading a file, and this means that you can upload a PDF, an Excel file, a Word document, a PowerPoint, any other file that your students might need to have access to. So let's do that right now. We click Upload File, and then where do you need to drag this file from? I'm going to bring it from my computer. And in this instance, I'm actually going to drag a PowerPoint file right here on top. I drop it, you'll see that it's uploaded this file right here, and I click add. I've of course used this file quite often. And right here within this learning resources subfolder, you're going to see now I have my PowerPoint presentation uploaded. Now I have a certain naming convention for my files on my computer, and I store them a certain way, and I can read this, and this shorthand for me makes absolute sense. But the file name might not make sense to my students, so I do have the opportunity to change the name of this file. So I can click this chevron, and I can say edit properties in place. So I'm editing the properties of this particular file, which means now I can click on this title and I can adjust it. So how to add a PowerPoint in Brightspace. I've renamed this file now, and I just click off of it and it's all good. Clicking on that edit topic, properties in place, I can add dates and restrictions to this file if I would like. I can add a description if I would like. I could make it invisible or visible to my students. I can alter the tracking, and we talked about this in the user interface skilled webinar, and I can delete this activity if I would like. So that's how we upload a file. The next item that we're going to upload or create is we want to embed a video or audio here within our course. So I click on this. And I know that there are questions in the chat. If anybody wants to add in a type of animal that you think is adorable, please let me know and I'll search for it in YouTube. So the first one that comes in chat, I'll do a search for. A koala. All right, thank you, Mark. So the first one that comes up is a National Geographic, which is great. I can tell that it has closed captions. If it has closed captions, by the way, it should have a little CC marker. And I want to make sure that any content that I'm pulling into my course is accessible to all my students. So this is the one I want to use. I click on it. And I have two different options to add my videos to the course in this way. I can grab the URL here, copy that, and then I can paste the URL right here. And when I do, it gives me a preview of the video that's going to get added, and it actually entered in the title for me. Or I can come to the video and I can click share, and I can grab the embed code. So the point of this is whatever information you have about that video, whether it's the URL or the embed code, you can add that video right here into your course, and it's going to look exactly the same. So if you don't know how to get the embed code, the URL works. If you only have the embed code and not the URL, that's going to work too. I click save. And now this is what the students will see after I've embedded that URL or the embed code here. They can click play and watch the video directly here within the Brightspace interface. I'm going to follow my breadcrumb trail back into my subfolder here that I'm creating. And I'm going to create one more element here. So I'm going to upload and create. And this time I'm going to skip over create a file because that's the last topic I'm going to talk about here, and click create a link. And this is going to open up a new link for my students in a new window. And so maybe I want to take my students to the DLE, the SUNY DLE website, which just means the SUNY Distance Learning Environment website, where you can get all the information you need about this migration here to Brightspace. And then I add in the URL. So you can copy that from another location. If you know the URL by heart, you can add that there. I've actually used this many times, so it shows up automatically for me. And I tend to prefer to open it as an external resource, just so students understand how they can navigate back to your course. They simply click on the other tab and open it up. So I click create. And this is what the actual page looks like. So I'm going to actually take a step back in my course and then take a step forward and show you what happens then when they open up a link. It's going to open up in a brand new tab for them. And then they just navigate back to the course by clicking on the Brightspace tab here. All right, so those are my three pieces of content there: the adding a file, uploading a file that you've already created, embedding or linking to a video, and then linking to an external website. Let's talk about this last option here, which is creating a file. And I just want to be clear that, again, creating a file means creating an HTML file, which translates into creating a web page. So essentially, this is create a page, and I wish that they used that terminology, but that's outside of my control. So just know that in this instance, the word file means creating a web page. This file means any other file that you might have that you want to upload. So let's create this file. I click create a file. And I'm going to say this is my 8 to create a page. I have the option to select document templates, but I'm going to skip over that for now. I will show you that as the next item we're gonna play with here. As I'm creating this page, I have the option to hide it from users. So if the module that I'm creating this in is already live to students, I can make sure that they can't view this particular page until I'm ready for it to launch. And then I come down here and I can start building content here in the rich text editor. So I'm going to take a couple of moments. I'm going to run through all of the options that we have here in this rich text editor and how you can start to build content on your own. The first is I'm going to say, this is the title of my page. To create a page, right? So this is just to demonstrate. Of course, if I were creating this course, I wouldn't say this is the title of my page, but anyway. I want to use my content identifiers here. So I'm going to highlight this text. Hang on just a second. I actually want to use the 19-point font, which is a default here. And then I want to come over here to paragraph and say, this is the most important piece of text on this page. This is my title. So I choose heading 1. So what this does for me, for individuals without disabilities, it creates a different font and boldness of this text, or sorry, font size and boldness of this text, which means that it calls the reader's attention here to the title. For an individual who's using a screen reader, what they get access to is it says H1, which then indicates to them that that's a title. It's an important piece of information. And so using these content identifiers serves two purposes. It makes it accessible, and it also ensures that people reading this digital material can make sense of the relative importance of your content. Oh, it looks like somebody else wanted to do koalas too. So I'm going to open up a Word doc where I have some boilerplate text here. And I'm going to just copy it a little bit. So when you're copying text from a Word document, I want you to do something for me. And what that is I want you to, rather than doing Control V and pasting it directly from Word or Google into this page, instead to do Control Shift V, which is going to remove the formatting from the program you're bringing it in from and adopt the formatting of Brightspace. This lends to fewer challenges with the way things lay out, and it also makes sure that we don't bring any junk code in, particularly from Microsoft Word. So the problem with that is then if you have any formatting, it's going to get rid of that for you. But I just wanted to show you how we can use these paragraph markers. I'm going to actually make this full screen so it's easier to see all of this stuff. So this top line here is my heading 1, which is my title. I have a subheading here, and I want to make sure that students with screen readers know that this falls under the title, but it also is a really important term. Same with this subheading 2. If I were creating that outline for a paper, this would be that Roman numeral 1 and Roman numeral 2. And then for these subheadings, these would be like the capital A in your outline. So it's a heading 3. This is at the same level, so it's a heading 3. So essentially you use this to indicate to students what the relative importance is and how it's divided out or distributed among these things. Plus, we're taking advantage of the way that individuals read digital screens, which is they scan across the top and then the middle and then down the sides. And what they're looking for is information that guides their attention. And we're drawn to these titles and these subheadings in this way. So you're actually making it so that your students will attend to the information better. So I've started using all of these paragraph indicators. We, of course, have all of these options here: bold, italics, underline, strike through, subscript, etc. Let's talk about changing color here. We talked about color a little bit in the accessibility scaled webinar. And so when we're changing the color of our font, we want to make sure that we're choosing a color that the contrast is sufficient between the text and the background. In this instance, maybe I want to choose this light turquoise color because I think it's pretty. Brightspace is going to let me know that there's insufficient contrast here between the text color and the background color. I have the option. I could choose another color by clicking on it. I could drag this slider until I saw that these were check marks here, etc. I'm going to make an intentional error here, so I'm going to choose this light turquoise color and click Save because I want to show you how the accessibility checker works. So you can indeed see that Brightspace was right. It is very challenging for someone without even any kind of disability with visual acuity to read this text against the white background. We'll come back to this later. We have, of course, the ability to alter the justification of our text, and we have bulleted numbered lists, and we can play around with the indentation of that as well. Next, let's talk about this insert stuff icon. And this is great. We have options to add a lot of things to our course content. I click on that insert stuff icon and you'll see I can upload files from my computer. So if I wanted to add right here within this page a link or my syllabus or a PowerPoint or a rubric, etc., I can absolutely add that. I can pull materials from anything within my course offering files. So again, if you're comfortable with file management in a learning management system, you can do that as well. We don't have the learning repository yet. I have the option to create a video note here, and we talked about video notes in the course communication scaled webinar, or I could add a video note that I'd already created. I have access to that library of the video notes I've created. And finally, I can add items from YouTube or Flickr, although the YouTube link is actually a little bit, or the YouTube search is kind of clunky within Brightspace. So I tend to go out to YouTube and come back in here and either insert the link or I enter the embed code here. So with that, I'm going to come back out here to the koala video, grab that embed code and click enter embed code. Click Control V, you can see it adds that iframe HTML, which is going to put the video right here within my page. This gives you a preview of what the video is going to look like. You click insert and there you go. So this video is going to go wherever it was that my cursor was. And so the video is now housed directly here, or it's embedded directly here within my content. So you could actually add multiple videos and they could see and view all 3 videos on the same page. You can pick and choose how you want to do that. Or you could have, an individual page with a video on it, like I showed you just a couple of minutes before. The next item I want to talk to you about is the insert content links. And this is a great way. We covered this in announcements in the communication scaled webinar, but you can actually click on the insert quick link and you can add links to anywhere within your course that you've already created. So maybe I want to link them after they watch this video. I want to link them to the discussion that they're going to talk about this particular video. So I could come down here to discussions. I could click the discussion that I intended them to participate in, and then the topic. And now they have a link to that topic that will, is directly related to this particular video. So feel free to use these content links. It's more than just here within your course. You could also link to your OneDrive or to your Google Drive. You could link them to rubrics that you've created, or to an external URL, or to virtual classroom here if you would like to. The next item in our rich text editor I want to talk about is the insert image. So we already inserted an image when we were creating that header for our folder in general, but I want to show you what happens when you add an image inside a page. So I click this icon, I'm going to browse my computer, and I'm going to drag and drop an image here from my section here. So let me see, let's put in a picture of just some embers here. I click add. I'm going to indicate that this image is decorative and click OK. I've used this file before. And this image is really large. And so what I'm going to do is click on that image. I'm going to reduce its size significantly. And then I have some options to do some editing with this image. I can rotate it counterclockwise. Maybe you took the picture with your camera and it was sideways, and so you can alter that here. You can do some flipping vertically or horizontally, and you can edit the image itself. Or you can look at the image options here. So you can add alt text here if you would like. You can adjust the height this way. And then you can change where it's aligned here within the page itself. This is aligned left, this is center, and this is to the right. And so when it's right, it actually puts it within the text and yet is still accessible. All right, so that's how you add an image using the rich text editor. We have equation editors, and I am not very familiar at all with the kind of use of equation editors, but I've heard good things anecdotally from faculty regarding these equation editors. They're really pleased at the variety of tools that they have to work from. So I do encourage you to use these, particularly if you're trying to make your course content accessible for your students. If you want to add a table, please do so. You can do that with this insert table feature here. Please remember that tables are notoriously hard to make accessible. So you want to limit the use of tables if at all possible. I used to use tables extensively to format my pages until I realized what a table rendered like to an individual using a screen reader. And then I was horrified. And so I've reduced my use of tables almost to zero. I only use tables where it's actually required for data presentation. Within Brightspace, we have these document templates that has allowed me to take the place of these tables that I was using and make things that are accessible to my students and still present them with content in a way that looks really usable and polished and professional. In this plus button, depending on the size of your rich text editor, it will contain more or less options here. So a really small rich text editor, if you click the plus sign, is going to have a long menu here. So you can click through the plus sign, see what else is available here. In terms of font face, there are, we have a significant list here of different fonts. We do encourage you to choose something that's called sans serif, which means without elaboration. So the Courier here is a great example of exaggerations at the end of a font. So this R at the bottom has a line, and so that is a serif. So we recommend that you use sans serif print for individuals with cognitive disabilities, particularly those that result in some sensory processing challenges. So you could use Arial, Arabic, Ezra. The recommended is Lato, and that's actually the font that Brightspace uses. So it tends to fit in nicely with the overall interface. And so that's what I typically use there. Font face, I typically use the default, which is 19. If you use 12, which the page sometimes comes in as 12, you'll be able to see how small that actually renders on a screen. And it's easier to read, of course, the larger the font size is. So I would encourage you to do a minimum of 19 here. If you're familiar at all with Format Painter in Google or in Microsoft Word, you can use this Format Painter. And then finally, I want to show you here this accessibility checker. Clicking on this is going to indicate any errors in accessibility in terms of contrast and alt text. And so you'll see it sees that I have 2 issues on this page. And I would love it if you got in the habit of clicking on the accessibility checker before you release a page to anybody. So you create the page, when you're done editing, click the accessibility checker, and then correct anything that it intends you to correct. So I'm going to come back up here and change the title of my page from that light turquoise down into a darker color. So I'm just going to drag this scale over here until it's that color. Now that's much easier to read. It looks like it matches the page a little bit better. And so I've corrected that one. If I run that accessibility checker again, it's going to indicate that my image is decorative, or it has it's lacking, or it lacks decorative or alt text description. And you'll be curious as to why that happened, because when I added that image, I actually clicked that it was decorative. What happens when you make any edits to the image itself in terms of size or in terms of orientation on a page or alignment on a page, it sometimes removes this image as decorative. I've not had it remove the alt text, but sometimes it removes the decorative text tab here. So I click repair. I'm all set, no accessibility issues are detected, and I click OK. So now I can feel reasonably confident that the material I provided on this page to my students is accessible. This ellipses right here, if you click on it, it will either collapse or expand the rich text editor. So if you're thinking you're missing a tool, go ahead and click on it. It might expand out for you. These arrows pull it out to full screen or minimize it. Just be aware that when you have it in full screen like I do right now, you lose access to the save button. So when you're ready to save, you actually have to minimize the editing area so that you can see this save. This gives you a word count of your page. Try not to overwhelm your students with lots of words on a page. And I'm going to show you some document templates that can help you, even if you need a lot of text, it will help you build out your content in a way that doesn't overwhelm the digital reader. It actually will help them engage with the material a little bit more. And this will give you a preview if you want to see what it's going to render like in a page. This is the source code. So if you're familiar at all with HTML or CSS, you can click into here and play around with that. If you don't know what those letters mean, this is probably not a place you should be playing around in. And then, of course, we have the undo or redo that we have in most word processing programs. So you can see here, I just saw this question out of the corner of my eye. Any letter that or words that are spelled wrong are automatically underlined. So there's no actual spell check. It happens as you're typing. And then you can just correct that. This nullum here, this is all just nonsense Latin. It's typically used when people are building websites. All right, so I'm all done creating this page. I'm going to click Save and Close. And now I can see what this page looks like. A student with a screen reader then could jump between these headings and subheadings. They could watch this video right here. They can click on this discussion topic. It's going to take them right there to have that discussion. And they can see the image over here on the right. Again, you can see how tiny this 12-point font is on this page. So that's how we created a page within Brightspace, but let's talk about the document templates here. First, I'm going to scroll down because when you create a page, it's going to drop it as the last item here in the folder. So when I'm going to drag this all the way back up here into the top here, I'm going to drop it between the module introduction and the accordions demo. All right, let's talk about what we want to build in terms of this module introduction. So I can either click on this link to go into the page, or I can click this chevron and say edit HTML. So that just means I'm editing this HTML file web page. In here, you're going to see that I have my module introduction title that I created out in the course builder. And then this is the note to myself to use the module introduction document template. I'm going to select the document template that I would like to use from this dropdown, and you're going to see there are 11 different templates we can use. And I know it only says 10, but that's because we start with 0. If you're curious about how to use any of these other document templates, last week during the Otter Institute, I went through how to use every single one of these document templates. And so the recordings are on the DLE website under the training tab there in recordings. And so it walks you through every single one of these. But today I'm going to talk to you about this module intro document template. And it always warns you if there's any text on a page that beware when you click on this template, it's going to overwrite what was in this editing field here. And because it's just a note to use this template, I'm okay with replacing that. And this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to expand this out to full screen, and you can see it inserts a really crisp, polished, professional looking image. And you can absolutely stick with all of the images that are included within this document template. If, however, you want to customize your template and put in an image that you would like, they have recommended image sizes to replace whichever image for a template. I know it says 1200 pixels by 400 pixels, but I'm finding that 400 pixels deep really takes up a lot of real estate. So I've been making mine 350 pixels high, just as an FYI. So if you want to replace this image, you click on the image, select delete, and it removes that image. Leaving your cursor where it is, click on the insert image file icon here and browse for a header here. So I'm going to drag this image here. I'm going to click add. It's a decorative image, and I click OK. And now you can see the header image that I've added in lieu of the one that they provided here in the template. What they do then with the document templates is they give you boilerplate text. There's formatting associated with all of the text, and it generally provides you with instructions on how to use this template. I want to talk to you a little bit about the bonus of using these templates. They look great. It's going to make your content look really, really polished. It's going to look more similar to a professional website, and they're really easy to use. Next, they're what are called responsive, which means that if a student is viewing this content on their phone or a tablet rather than on a huge monitor, what it does is it adapts itself to optimize the viewing for the student based on the screen size that they're looking at. And so using these responsive the templates makes it so that students, or you if you're using the Pulse app, can more easily access the information rather than having to scroll across to read a sentence and scroll back to read the rest of the sentence, et cetera. And we've all experienced that online. So using these responsive templates is amazing. And finally, at the beginning, every single one of these templates is accessible. You can, of course, make them inaccessible by adding content in improperly, but they are accessible. And if you keep with the way that things are set up, you're going to guarantee that your content is accessible for your students. So with that, I'm going to replace this, this text here. So this is going to be my, instead of module introduction, I'm going to call this my module, my 8.2 module introduction. I could add in some boilerplate text if I wanted to. So let me grab some text here, or some text about my actual course. Again, I want to do Control-Shift-V to remove the formatting from Word. If I didn't do Control-Shift-V, by the way, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have, and if you're familiar at all, I could take you into source code and you would undoubtedly see like Microsoft's junk code behind it, but so I don't like to do that. So Control-Shift-V, if you've already written it, you can type it directly in here if you want to give an overview here of the module here. You could use this learning objectives text here if you would like. I'm going to call these learning goals because they're not official objectives. And then by the end of this module, you will be able to, and then you can add in your objectives or goals here. If you only have 2 goals, you can delete 3 and 4. It works just like a list in Word. So maybe this is going to be create a module in the course builder. And this one is going to be add a page, upload a file. And then as I add more, if I just click enter, it adds more information here for me. And so I'm just going to do one more and embed a video. Okay. When you're all done adjusting this text, you can exit out of full screen there and click save and close. And this is what your module overview is going to look like. Be aware that any image you add for this particular template, the module introduction text itself overlays in part on the image. So if there were any image or any text that you needed to be visible here, it will cover it. So just use images appropriately here. So you can just see how nice this looks. And then your campus will have its own logo inserted on these document templates. So I just want to juxtapose this against the page that we created. And while this is fine and perfectly acceptable, the templates do render a little bit nicer. And if a student was reading this on their phone, they might end up having to scroll to read this full sentence and then back, et cetera, because the main page, when you just create a page, it's not responsive. All right, let's do one last document template demo here. And I'm going to be on this page and I have 2 options. I can either click this down arrow and edit the HTML, or down at the bottom, I can edit HTML. Either way, it takes me here to this editing page. I'm going to select the document template here. In this case, it's going to be an accordion. I'm going to replace that reminder text to myself. and expand out. So you can see the accordion document template has a different image here, and I can keep it or I can replace it. But what I'm going to do today is actually create a template or an accordion using, it's all going to be about s'mores. So I'm going to delete this particular image. I'm going to insert an image, browse my computer, and drop in a new header here. Click add. It's decorative. And there we go. So now I have a new image. It's going to, it relates to the accordion that I'm going to build. And accordions are easier for me to show you what they are rather than tell you. But essentially what it does is, and you've seen it on websites, I'm sure, it's going to have this, these boxes, right? And they're compressed at first. And you can put a title on each of those boxes. And when a student wants to read more about one of those items, they click on the title and it expands it out. So it's like opening up an accordion and then compressing an accordion, which is why it's called that. Hopefully it doesn't make the same sound as an accordion, but anyway, there you have it. So let's build an accordion here. If you're going to do accordions here within Brightspace, I do recommend that you err on the side of caution and choose the accordion that has a group of 6. Because if you choose a group of 4 and you end up having 5 items that need to fit in that accordion, it is really hard to add an extra accordion file if you don't know HTML. It is very easy to delete extra ones. So I just in general go with this accordion group of 6, which means I'm going to highlight all of this stuff here between accordion 6 and the single accordion and delete it, which is going to leave me just with this accordion group of 6. So I'm going to replace this header text here, my title for this page, and let's make s'mores. And maybe I have, some information about the history of s'mores, when they were invented, et cetera. I can paste it right there, or I can type it in, et cetera. So I just want to prepare my students for what they're about to read about. I'm going to then change the title of my accordion here, and things we need to make. This text is help text. It's meant for if you want to copy this accordion and put it in another document template. I don't need that to display to my students. And here I'm going to replace the header text. So this is going to be, we need fire. And then we need roasting sticks. And we need graham crackers. And we need chocolate. And we need marshmallows. So you'll see here that I ended up only needing 5, but I added this extra one just in case. And now I feel confident that I can actually get rid of this extra accordion here. So I'm going to delete it from this help text here all the way up to the accordion. I delete it. And now I'm back to 5 accordions, but it's very challenging to add extra. So again, I do recommend that you always go with the 6 to get started, unless you know it's only 2 for sure. Right? Now, once you open up the accordion, once a student clicks on the word fire and they want to learn more about fire, this is where that content goes. And so it's saying insert that content here. And I want you to be aware that within this this box here, you can use this full rich text editor. So you can add images, you can add content links, you can add videos, you can add lists, tables, equations, etc. Any of these things that you have access to up here, you can absolutely add. So maybe for fire, I'm just going to add this embed video really quickly here. Here I'm going to highlight this text and delete it. I'm going to insert my stuff, click enter embed code. And I'm going to click insert. And so there, if they want to learn more about fire, they can watch that video, even though it's not about fire, but you get the picture here. I can also add text here. So maybe I just want to have a conversation with them about roasting sticks. And maybe with graham crackers, I also want to have a little bit of information about graham crackers, but I also want to add an image. I can do so very easily by indicating where with my cursor I want to add that image. And I can browse and then drag and drop an image here. In this case, it's of graham crackers, an image of a stack of graham crackers. Just to let my students know what this image is of, and click OK. Again, this image is really large, and I want to change it to left just or right justified there. So you can continue to add content here if you would like. I'm just going to do this just so you can see what it's going to look like. And now I've added in all of my content about how to add or how to create s'mores. So click Save and Close. And then this is what your accordions template is going to look like. We have the header here that Let's Make S'mores. It really stands out. There's a little bit of text here. And then these are the things we make s'mores, right? The nice thing about this is it chunks our material, which makes it clear to the students that for these things to make s'mores, it's fire, roasting 6 graham crackers, chocolate, and marshmallows. And then when they want to learn more about any of these pieces of content, they can expand it out and they can see fire, they can collapse it, they can see more about roasting sticks. So this is one way you can use a template. If you have a lot of text, you can divide it out among these accordions and not have it seem so overwhelming to your students. Because if you didn't have them in accordions, this is what they would have to scroll through just to read this page. And as you can imagine, the way this page looks, it's a little bit challenging for them to see that fire, roasting sticks, etc., are all in this list of things we need to make s'mores. So just as an FYI, it does help not only with how your page lays out, but with your students' comprehension of the material you're presenting it to. And I recognize I'm over time here, but I do want to take a moment here and demonstrate one other thing here. So I'm going to come back out to the accordions, or out to the main folder here. And I want to click on Create a File, because I want to use a piece from another document template called Elements. And this is covered in that Otter workshop, by the way. But I want to borrow something like the Jumbotron element from this particular document template and copy it into another template we've already worked with. So I'm going to copy Jumbotron, because you can see it says where to start and end copy. But if you want the header, you should copy that too. So I'm going to hit Control-C. I'm going to cancel out of this and go into my module introduction and edit this. And down at the bottom then of this page, I want to add an element that's going to stand out because I need my students to see it. So here I do Control-V, and I've added that Jumbotron now from the Elements document template. By the way, you can only copy and paste these document template elements within another document template. I could not add this to that page we created first when I was showing you how to do this. So you can replace this, and this is your final project instructions, and maybe I would give some information about final project info, ... and I would make a list for them there. So that's essentially how you can add pieces and parts and really customize these templates to make them your own. As I scroll down, you can see that that Jumbotron really pops off the screen and will get their attention. All right, so that brings me to the end of my prepared remarks here for adding content. What I'm going to do here for a moment is stop my share, and I'm going to share the attendance link for this session. Apologies for taking so long. I used to have my partner in crime, Robert, in here helping me, and he would get this for me, but he's running a session right now, a training session, so he cannot help. So this is in the chat now, is the attendance link here for creating content. And I will show you how that works if you've not already done this before. You click on the link and it will take you to the attendance where you're going to sign in with your SUNY Federated ID, which just is a creative way of saying your campus login. So you click SUNY sign in, you're going to be prompted to choose which campus you're from, in which case, once you select which campus you're from, you'll be taken to a page that has probably your campus logo, and you can enter in your campus username and password, which is the username and password you use to enter the media station on campus or your campus computer, etc. And on that page, we can access the attendance here for this particular session. Because a lot of people are probably clicking this link, it does take a little bit of time. You just make sure you're marked as attended and click submit. All right, and then before I get to questions, I just want to remind everybody that the DLE website, to get to the recordings, including those auto recordings I was talking about in terms of the access to those document templates, they're on this recordings page. And again, you have to sign in using your federated ID, which again is just your campus username and password to get access to these videos. But the Otter Institute is here, and you can see all of the different sessions we ran. And these two videos cover those document templates in great detail, every single one of them, including copying and pasting from area to area. All right, with that, now I'm going to scroll back through. I see I do have some questions here. Oh, John, I'm sorry. I see that you control what your Zoom menu or your Zoom screen is going to do. So if you were to go up into the top right, up into the top menu, you can actually control what that's going to look like, or you can actually drag and drop the gallery over to make it smaller. I apologize, I didn't see that in time. Oh, thank you, Laura, for addressing that. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for helping. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for crowdsourcing that. I appreciate that. If you are not using a column, can you hide it? Yeah, I'm gathering you meant that for the course builder. I wish we could hide that third column, but we cannot. It stays there. And there's a question, can this calendar link with our campus Outlook calendar? What you can do is, if your Outlook calendar allows you to export an iCal file, you can import that iCal into your calendar. And I cover that in the communication tools scaled webinar. Does the folder only allow images, or can we have the course title there? You can have the course title there. But if you don't upload a JPEG or a PNG, it's not going to replace the banner there in that module card out here. It's only going to put information in this I section here, which you don't have to replace the banner image, by the way. It's just something I prefer to do. When you add a content link to part of one course, if you copy the file HTML page to another course, does the link copy? If it does, what happens if the student is not enrolled in both courses? Yeah, so using course links can be challenging when you're copying that HTML between. So you're going to want to make sure that your links are taking students to the correct place. They will get an error if you've copied that HTML file containing a content link to, say, a discussion forum or to a quiz in one course. The link will break when you copy it over into the next course, because the student doesn't have access there. So you will need to relink in that second course to the appropriate discussion or quiz or wherever. Is there a spell checker in the file? Yes, it underlines it in red when it's spelled incorrectly. Will there be some discussion of adding VoiceThread Kaltura links in one of the webinars? No, I didn't cover it, so you didn't miss it. I don't cover those here through the CPD workshops only because I don't have access to those tools. My guess is your campus will be doing programming on that for you. If not, they'll be providing you with help videos or help documentation, I'm sure. What's the best way to post a large video file of a recorded lecture? Upload the file to Brightspace or link to a Google Drive? So I'm going to recommend, Jonathan, that you reach out to your distance learning team on your campus because each campus has a different workflow for creating videos, storing those videos, where those the actual file is stored, and linking videos. So maybe they encourage you to use YouTube, in which case you can embed that video right there. Maybe they encourage you to use your O Drive on your campus or something else. And because we're dealing with 64 campuses across SUNY, I hate to give advice about that because every campus has their own recommended workflow. We do not necessarily, by the way, recommend you upload a large video file into Brightspace directly, however, because what it does is it counts against your course size, and videos are notoriously very big. So do reach out to your distance learning team and see where they want you to store that file and how they want you to link. Great. Is this recorded to watch again? Yes, and it's going to be available here on this DLE website and on this recordings link. I can actually provide this link to you here in the chat. And there are older recordings up there right now. I am recording a new version this week because we've added some materials, we've refined some things, there have been some adjustments to the interface, etc. So if you want to wait, a day or two, then you'll have today's recording available on that website. And I often live stream my class via Echo. Is there a way to add Echo live stream to the course? I'm imagining that your Echo live stream is going to take students to an external website, in which case you can provide them with the link within Brightspace that will take them to the Echo live stream, but I've not actually used that tool. That would be my guess, or Echo might provide you with an embed code, in which case you can provide that embed code in a page and it will take them out to it. So that's how I would handle it, and maybe provide that, in a page or in announcements or the calendar, etc., so that students can get to that live link from multiple places, depending on how they navigate Brightspace. Because I'm sure, as you know, a lot of people navigate systems differently. And so the more redundancy we can add for something like this, the better for our students. All right, I know I threw a lot at you here for this course content or creating content scaled webinar. Does anybody have any other questions for me? I do want to, if you don't mind, show you what navigation for a student is going to look like if you have a subfolder. So if you don't mind, I'll take this moment to show you. So when a student clicks into Brightspace, they're going to open up a folder here and they'll click on the first page. In this case, they're going to see this module introduction. They'll review this, hopefully read it completely. And then they can click this arrow button at the bottom of the page or this arrow button at the top of the page to proceed to the next item in this folder. In which case they'll go to that create a page that we built. They can read that. They can then move on to the accordions page that we created. And then what happens when they reach the next subfolder that's got the other elements we added, it kicks them back out into this folder view. So they have to be like, okay, now where am I? And then they have to come down here and click how to add a PowerPoint in Brightspace, which then again, they can review the PowerPoint right here in Brightspace, or they can download it, etc. They can click to the next item, which is that video. They can watch the video and then click to the next item, which is that external link here. And then when they click to the next item, which is at the end of that subfolder, it kicks them back out to this main folder. So you can see that adding, or kicks them out to the next folder rather. So what it ends up doing is it twice makes them have to reorient themselves and then click on another item. So the more we can avoid using these subfolders, the better. And so I can show you what that would look like here in this folder, where I removed the subfolder elements and just put them out here on the main page. And if you don't have too many items here in this folder, it's going to render just fine. It might seem like a lot, but most students aren't navigating it this way. They're clicking through pages, or they're using this side panel to navigate here. So anyway, we're going to try to avoid at all costs, making that hierarchy deep. We're going to try to keep it as flat as possible. definitely try to avoid subfolders. So if you do have to have a subfolder to help you organize material, just so it doesn't become unruly, then keep it to just one subfolder. Don't add another folder level inside of that. It gets really, really challenging for them to navigate that way. All right, any other questions? Okay, great. Well, thank you for your time and attention today as we learned about creating content with Brightspace. I hope to see you at, thanks. To see if anybody has any additional questions about content, please feel free to refer back to those videos. Okay, Leslie, or refer to the recordings here for the Otter Institute, because this Otter Institute has information that's not covered in the scaled webinars or fundamentals workshops. These are advanced. They enhance your understanding of the tools that we touch on in the fundamentals workshops. So just be aware of those. They're kind of actually great. If you number the lists rather than using subfolders, will it organize them numerically? Can you explain what you mean, Leslie? I'm sorry, I didn't follow that. Which lists?
I think maybe it would be better for me to just say it.
Sure.
I noticed that you had like 3 folders that were dated 6/30.
Yeah.
And so if I wanted them to say, read this one first, then this one, then that one. And I had 1 6/30, 2 6/30, 3 6/30.
So now I understand your question, and it will not do that automatically for you, but you can simply drag and drop your folders into the correct order. Okay. So that, or if you're creating them in that order, in the course builder, create 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. It will stay in that order. But yeah, it's just a matter of naming your folders and then either reordering them in the course builder or reordering them out here. That it accomplishes the same thing. And I think that's smart. A lot of people do that. They label them 1, 2, 3, 4. I tend to do module 1, module 2, module 3, whichever way to indicate to students that there's a sequential order to these. You should go through this first, etc. Yeah. Okay, good question. Anybody else? I mean, you have me for 4 more minutes. Okay, if not, thank you again, and I hope to see you at subsequent sessions. Please watch for programming announcements in September, because we're going to run some advanced sessions. Once you get into Brightspace and maybe you're ready to learn a little bit more about how to enhance your use of Brightspace, make your job more efficient, make it easier for students to navigate. We'll be running what are called illumination sessions, and they're just advanced topics within Brightspace. So I hope to see you there. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you soon.